Well, we're on to 12 minutes to 10 a.m. as we head towards closure. And last night we had a look at India and this hateful Hindutva ideology and doing everything that they can to ridicule and also at the same time to commit acts of genocide against Muslim. And this came against the background of the release of these gang rape convicts that were released on India's Independence Day. And this was the case of Bilkis Banu and her child and the rest of the family. And this is just one issue. But obviously taking it to various levels. And 3 months ago, we know the outcry on the comments insulting Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And once again, this is coming to the fore where this hateful ideology and the people that are promoting it. And here we are talking about people in the ruling BJP party, a lawmaker releasing a video showing him making derogatory comments about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which triggered our protests. And we joined this morning on the line by Feroze Mithiborawala, who is an Indian activist. Feroze, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, I think there is a disturbance in the background. I'm not too sure whether you're in a public space.
No, actually, I'm traveling in a car.
Oh, okay, you're traveling in the car. Okay, if yeah, because there just seems to be a lot of disturbance in the background. Uh, uh, Firoz, please just talk to me.
5 मिनट के लिए रेडियो प्रोग्राम को रख दो. हाँ, हेलो. Yeah. Hello. नहीं.
Okay,
हाँ.
okay, Firoz.
Go on. Yeah.
Yes, Firoz, this case of Thakur Raja Singh, here we're talking about a lawmaker belonging to the BJP releasing a video. Now, this we are led to believe happened on Monday, and this led to overnight protests where once again we find these insults and derogatory remarks made against Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yes, that's true. There are two parts to it. One is he did make those remarks. There were protests, and he's been arrested since then. The BJP government at the center, in fact, I believe, doesn't want these kind of remarks anymore. So even Nupur Shah, who made these remarks earlier, was made to shut them down. And even this current MLA who made these remarks in Telangana and Hyderabad was actually arrested.
Yes. Now we've heard that he was arrested, but again, this comments were made on Monday. He was arrested on Tuesday, but we've now subsequently learned that a local court granted him bail on Tuesday night.
Yeah. See, now there are two parts to it, sir. One is bail is a right to be granted. So I'm not against people getting bail. That's one. In fact, to tell you honestly, I'm not even against people making passing remarks against each other's prophets and gods and goddesses, because I believe that should be a part of our freedom of expression. Because apart from, I think, the Muslims, not many other people are really truly very worried or bothered or offended when their gods and goddesses and prophets are questioned. We don't see Christians protesting and cutting people's throats when Jesus is spoken about in a lighter vein or offensive remarks are made against Jesus. I think it's high time Muslims grow up as a community and this entire matter of blasphemy be put aside, because that is no way to conduct any kind of a democratic debate in any sane society. So I totally oppose the blasphemy law in many of these Muslim countries. I also object to the blasphemy law being demanded in India by certain Muslim conservative organizations, because I believe this blasphemy law is basically a fascistic tendency where you just do not want to hear any kind of criticism or critique, or any criticism can be taken to be offensive. Because even when Nupur Sharma spoke, I don't believe she said anything that was factually incorrect. Her way of saying it was condescending and insulting, I agree. But what Nupur Sharma said was not incorrect, it was factual, because the fact that the Prophet did get engaged to Hazrat Aisha at the age of 6 and they consummated at the age of 9 is part of the Bukhari Hadith. So I think that
No, but Firoz, I just need
from
to
that
obviously, I just want to stop you there because I want to talk about, obviously, you are talking about blasphemy laws, but we are talking about a secular country, but there are certain, obviously, boundaries, okay, that are being crossed. And in this case here, we know that India has been committing acts of genocide against Muslims. We know what has happened with regard to Gujarat, and we see this happening over and over again. And this is, one can talk about freedom of speech, we can talk about freedom of expression, but when freedom of expression is purposely used, and there is an agenda behind using freedom of speech to make derogatory remarks, to insult a particular section of a community, clearly that is not on, because we've also seen in India the Jamiatul Ulama Hind, saying that these are shameful, these are shocking remarks.
See, there are two parts to it. One is I oppose hate speech and I oppose the call for violence. That is what the laws should be covering, and that's what the laws do cover. They are not implemented in India as a different story, but we have laws that cover hate speech and incitement to violence. That's one. The other point is that I don't know if you organize a program around Kanhaiya Lal, a tailor in Udaipur, Rajasthan, whose neck was cut off on the Nupur Sharma matter. I don't know if you did a program, because I don't think Muslims have a right to go around cutting people's heads off, be it Samuel Paty's in France or the recent attack on Salman Rushdie in the US, or then this, I mean, this is just not on. Muslims have no right to start murdering people for whatever they believe are perceived offensive remarks against the Prophet or against Islam. That's one part. The other part I'm saying is, in the Quran itself, we are calling people as kafirs and unbelievers when they have their own books, they have their own religions, and we are calling them kafirs. That is highly offensive. So there are a number of verses within the Quran which are violent, which are offensive to people of the religions. There are offensive verses within the Old Testament. There are offensive verses in the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Gita and the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. So the point is that the right to offend has already been automatically taken up by the people of religion. They keep on saying, don't offend us. And the people of religion and their books are already offending other people. Okay. Where the Quran talks of sex slavery, where the Quran talks of, even crucifixion as part of when there is war, there is in that crucifixion is allowed. I don't know if Allah is allowing torture even during the course of war. I can agree in the course of war you can kill somebody and they kill you. But what is this with torture in the Quran? So to relook, there is a need for reform of Islam. There is a serious relook at the laws of blasphemy that apply within Islam, because you cannot have a sane debate in any society if you're going to keep on saying you have offended me, I'm going to cut your throat. Okay, so that is something that Muslims need to look at. Even in the case of Kanhaiya Lal's murder in Udaipur, the Muslim organizations who condemned the attack on Kanhaiya Lal's death did so as part of the hate crime. The attack on Kanhaiya Lal was not a hate crime, it was a murder for blasphemy. And Indian Muslim organizations do not have the honesty to say that, because they are demanding the blasphemy laws along the lines of Pakistan. And we know what a madhouse Pakistan has become because of the rising intolerance within Islamic societies. Yes, we do have a problem of Hindutva intolerance, but Hindus were not as intolerant earlier 30 years ago. I believe that we are now looking at blasphemy laws to apply to
Yes.
Hinduism. What I'm
No.
saying is,
I think what we're saying, Firoz. I just want to stop you there for a minute. And those, the thing is, unfortunately, we don't have much time to actually talk about it. And I know you mentioned a number of issues with regard to Quranic ayats and those type of things, which obviously can be challenged in terms of what you are saying. But when we are talking about blasphemy laws, when we are talking about, you gave this example about this person whose head got cut off. But in India, for a very, very long time, when one looks at the sacredness of the cow, when one looks at Gau Mata, when one looks at the number of Muslims that have been killed as a result of eating beef, when one looks at the number of Christians, I mean, there was a classic case of a Christian girl being burnt to death for becoming a Christian. So when we're talking about tolerance or intolerance at the end of the day, who has been more intolerant, particularly in a country like India, where you've got minorities? I mean, you've got minorities, you've got a Muslim minority, you've got a Christian minority. We know what has happened, genocides that were committed against the Sikhs as well. So this cannot be a one-way issue where we now find that because Muslims are reactionary to insult and derogatory comments, yes, they have the right to voice their disgust at people like Thakur Raja Singh, who deliberately, because this is not about freedom of speech. These are deliberate, these are highly provocative comments that are being made by somebody who is supposed to be a lawmaker and a leader in the nation, and this is meant to actually incite others.
As I'm saying, we need to look within. When we say that Jesus is not crucified, we are insulting the Christian faith, which stands on the basis
We're
of
not insulting. It's not insulting. The Christians actually believe, they know that this is our belief system, that Nabi Isa alayhi salam was not crucified, and they do accept that there is a difference in a belief system. It cannot be seen as an insult.
That is offensive Christians for you to say that's a lie. You say that never happened. So let us understand that each religion's book is offensive to the other. We also offend each of the 72 Islamic sects which offend each other. So I'm saying, please look at what is happening inside. Muslims are highly intolerant towards listening to any of these kind of challenges to what we am saying. Okay. The point is we need an open debate on all these issues within Muslim society. Yes, we have a problem with Hindutva intolerance. I, as a Gujarati, am saying we have faced the genocide in Gujarat. But that is not the entire story. You need to cover cases of Muslim intolerance across the world. Did you do a program condemning the attack on Salman Rushdie, however offensive he may have been? Did you do a program on Kanhaiya Lal when he was murdered on the Dupo Sharma matter? I don't think you did that. Please cover, because the problem of Indian secularism is we've been soft on Muslim intolerance. That has been our weakness. Hindutva has grown because of Muslim intolerance as well. That is another reason. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have absolutely, in fact, I would disagree. I would disagree with you, Feroze, totally, when you are saying that Hindutva has grown as a result of Muslim intolerance. I mean, we are talking of decades. We are talking of decades of hate. And let us not go back. Let us not talk about the formation of the RSS. Let us not talk about the RSS being inspired by Nazi Germany. There is just so much. The leader of the RSS, and this is exactly what is happening. But unfortunately, time is of the essence, and I don't think we're going to have time to debate this entire thing. But I will hold you to a debate on a more detailed discussion on this particular issue. For now, we just don't have the time. And as you mentioned, Salman Rushdie, yes, we have covered the issue of Salman Rushdie, and that we've given it a lot of coverage. But for now, we thank you for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Did you condemn it? I don't think you condemned it. Okay, bye.
Well, this is exactly the type of thinking that we see, where we see a secular country, India, claiming to be the world's largest democracy, and how people are actually influenced through secularism, and comparing the remarks of Thakur Raja Singh against Muslims, and also looking at how Muslims view Christianity. I mean, we've got a difference in belief. It is a fundamental difference in belief regarding Isa alayhi salam. Christians right across the entire world have accepted the fact that Muslims do not believe in the crucifixion of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. They have accepted that fact, that we see Nabi Isa alayhi salam as an honorable Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here we have somebody who says that because we have this difference, it is regarded as hate speech against Christians, and that is how Christians perceive it. I definitely am not aware of that, and this has not been an issue. But this, unfortunately, short-sightedness on the part of people who are influenced in a secular environment. And yes, if we do get an opportunity, we will hold him to a debate on a more detailed discussion. The time is just got 10 a.m. and next up is going to be just 26, Mishari Rashid Al-Afasi, Sheikh Mishari Rashid Al-Afasi. With that, I'm signing off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.